Welcome to the Creative Life Podcast, the place where creatives go for inspiration. My name is Dr. Jessica Olson. I'm your host, and I'm joined here today with co-host Dr. Jacqueline Gibbons. And we are on the couch debriefing some of the amazing guests that we have had on the show this season. I don't know about you, Dr. Gibbons, but it has been really fun just learning about our guests and the creative communities that they're part of and their passions. And I can't wait to just dive into this with you. I mean, we'll go into a couple of our different creatives. Definitely Teresa from Becoming Obsessed. We'll also talk about Liv from Live Creatively or False Digits. And then also Tyrell and Teresa and Rachel. I have so many names in mind. Yeah. Yes, Rachel Ware and Tyrell Frazier from Warehouse Comedy. So we'll get into that. And oh my gosh, I'm just so excited.
I know.
Yes.
This whole season has, the variety of guests and the areas of expertise. I'm blown away with each person who sits down with us.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop here. Because we still have a lot more guests that are coming on. And I was thinking about, so working on our Substack, we're getting a Substack, which is really cool. And I was thinking so I was going to do a post about 10 must listen episodes, 10 lessons that you have to have. We are encroaching almost 50 episodes now. And I was like, well, how do I get to 10? Because there's just been so many amazing creatives. And so even if we're just breaking down these last 3 episodes that we've taped, there's so much that we can pull away from that. And then it's hard. It's like, okay, we're at the top 10. But anywho, let's talk about Teresa first from the Becoming Obsessed podcast and Sleeked Marketing. Let's talk about some of the takeaways from her and what she was able just to share on the couch with us.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact that she said business is her area of creativity, I found that unusual at first, how so? But the way that she works with people, it absolutely is. And if you're a creative and you are looking into, I love what I do, I know what I want to do, how do I start making money doing this? You have to listen to her episode. She gave the best nuggets. Marketing can seem like a really daunting thing, especially if you're a creative. And she just said, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy talking to people? Do you enjoy filming things? Do that. Just do what you love. And then she was also talking about reverse engineering, how to begin making this living with it. And I tell you what, something that struck me about her is she has this, as she was talking about her journey, this constant personal awareness, her self-awareness, she's in a constant state of presence and knowing that, I'm kind of feeling a rub here. Is that just because it's difficult, or does that mean this doesn't bring me joy anymore? Or you know what, as I tried that, I felt energized by that. How can I do this as a service for other people? How can I do this and make money? I don't want to work a lot, but I know how I want to live. And I know that I want to have this lifestyle and I have to support it. How could I go about that? Just in a constant state of presence and self-awareness. And it's almost like continual evolution with her.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you just said one thing, and Teresa, she talked about bucket filling. And so I'm just going to break down that term because there might be people who have no idea what she was talking about with bucket filling, and then what you're also saying like joy and bucket fillers. So for those that want to learn more, Gallup is a wonderful organization. There's even books on Amazon about this, about bucket fillers. And essentially it's thinking about the things, if you looked at your life, your joy, what is being contributed to that bucket, and then what's being taken out of it. So when we're saying that term bucket filling or filling my bucket, that's what we're really getting into. And there's a lot of research around that too. So it's not just some colloquialism, some kind of slang that we're using that's actually grounded in research. And if you go on Amazon, you can easily, I might even link something to this show notes, one of my favorites, because there's kids' books about this too, and helping them navigate situations for what would be a bucket filler and what wouldn't. And I just want to get into one of the things that Teresa talked about, and you also highlighted too, was she has this ability to make checkpoints in her life. And as creatives, I think this is really crucial. This is a crucial skill. This is a non-negotiable skill as a creative, is you have to have checkpoints with yourself to practice reflective or reflexive thinking to say, hey, is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? How do I feel my body? How do I feel my mind? And so I like the fact that you're drawing that out and bringing that to the forefront, especially for our listeners, that they're thinking like they're just not joining us, at this episode, and they don't know where to begin, and they don't know if they should say yes or no or exit something. Teresa Stastny's episode will help teach you that.
Absolutely. And even when referencing her podcast, Becoming Obsessed, which you were a guest on.
I was.
And
she's a wonderful host. It was a joy to be on the show with her.
I can't wait to take that in. And she said, I want people to love their lives. And what a great way to live in a way that you are pouring into others, filling others' buckets. Please look that up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about Liv, Olivia Vogel, or call her Liv for short, and how her journey. So it was really interesting. So we went from Teresa to Liv, and I shared that I actually met them both at the same time in Omaha Podcast Meetup, which Teresa was helping to co-create that event and bring everybody together. And so Liv was one of the people that I met there. We just connected. I liked her energy. She was just very, as you saw her on the show, she's very much who she is, and she's transparent about that. She's like, hey, I had to learn how to go from an art form that was very isolated. I can have my own music, I can have my own space, to having a shared space to do my art, to have a business, to teach others. And so she's one of those creatives who is she's not gatekeeping the challenges. And she's not gatekeeping her wins either. So tell me some of your thoughts and reflections from the episode with her.
When you mentioned her transparency, she was saying things that I have thought in my head time and time again. She talked about her limiting beliefs and the limits that she put on her potential or what could be done with her art. She was beautifully transparent about that, and she said, to listen to your inner child, right? And so there's of course a lot of emotions when you're trying to identify your limiting beliefs and eliminate these beliefs and change them. And so she was saying, when you start something, you're going to hit hurdles. And because it's your passion, it can be emotional when you have a hurdle or you hit a failure, because then the self-talk becomes, well, they were right. This isn't going to work. You're not meant to do this. You're not cut out for this. And she said, understanding that the emotions are a part of that, just because it's something you're passionate about. But the emotion, don't give it definition. Don't say that don't give that meaning about you. I think she spoke beautifully to that. And I admire that, and so many people had to do this during the pandemic. She was doing her nail art on the side, and she was waiting tables, and here came the pandemic. She no longer could wait tables, and it was pivot. It was, how am I gonna pay my bills? And she found a way. I'm just going to still create this nail art, and I'm going to send it to them. Wow. I mean, how many times did my jaw drop when we were talking with her?
There were quite a few times. No. Yeah, totally. I get that. And, she talked a lot about the pivot. And it's so special that she really went into the pivot, because I think sometimes you can be afraid of the pivot. There have been times in my life where I'm like, oh my gosh, life has come up against me, and I have a choice now. And I don't like binary choices. I am very much a non-binary thinker. And I always think, oh, actually, I think there's something else around here, around the bend. But there are times in life where there's an absolute. And COVID was an absolute of saying, hey, there are certain areas in our lives that are going to be impacted. And it is a truth right now. It might not be a truth forever, but it is a truth right now. And she was able to keep her creative aspect of herself alive. And she talked about that too, transparently. Like, I had to survive, which is very different than Teresa's story. Teresa's story, she's always had that entrepreneurial mindset. She's always had that entrepreneur spirit. And so for her, it was freedom. It was always freedom. So it was never I need a client, because she's always had that mindset of, like, this is how I live. This is my lifestyle. But Liv, she came up against a pivot. She was doing something else, and this was just something fun, something just, like she said, she didn't even have her nail tech license. She was just drawing. It was just ways for her to bring her art degree back into her life. And so for creatives at home that are navigating different pivots, and they can come in all shapes and forms, just looking at Liv and saying, I can survive the pivot. I can survive this transition. So thank you for drawing that forward, because that is something that shouldn't be lost.
Right. And a critical resource that she pointed out was, there's a university, a college, a community college near you. She knew nothing about starting a business and accounting and marketing and all these things. However, a student at a local campus, actually, she became their capstone project, so to speak. And this student helped her with, these are the things that we do with your business. These are the things that we do to market it. These are the things that we do with accounting. These are things with, law and things like that. And what an incredible resource to tap into.
Yeah. And then if you're in the Omaha area, or even just in Nebraska, but specifically if you're in the Omaha area, Creighton University just launched a new program. I was actually one of their clients, helping with the Creative Life Multimedia Publishing, which is the parent company of Creative Life podcast. And so essentially what it is, it's an innovation. It is IELC. So it's the Innovation Entrepreneurship Legal Clinic. They have a grant, and they're able to service the Omaha area, like creatives in Omaha, not just creatives, but I was like, our creatives. So I'm going to call us out. But entrepreneurs who want to start that business, and it is a free service. It is a grant. It is serving us. And so, and then University of Nebraska in Omaha, they also have a business development. So when she was talking about it, like, my mind was like, oh, I know someone actually can connect it to you. I know another person. And then guess who? Xavier. Xavier. Yes. Because she talked about finances and how she was paying out of pocket. She's still funding her entrepreneurial endeavor. And so Xavier, when he's talking about the local art plug, and he doesn't just serve Nebraska, he has that global mission too. But we have so many resources here for our creatives to not only start that journey, but to sustain and thrive in that journey. And Teresa talked about it too. She said, hey, you have this whole email list. They're your clients right there. Nurture that relationship there. You don't need to do all that. Hand it over to us. We have systems in place to help you do that. So Liv's episode absolutely amazing. I love how brave she was
Yes.
in telling her story and being transparent in it and saying, you know what? I'm in the messy middle.
Right.
I'm in the messy middle of starting this business.
And now her students benefit from that transparency as well. She's able to see and reflect back to, I remember that exact moment, and times where she had a mentor, and then times where she didn't. And it would have been helpful if at this time I would have, had this information or whatever. And so the fact that she's able to lend that to her students now, what a beautiful gift.
It is a gift. It is a gift. Okay, and speaking of gifts, because we have the gift of laughter as well. Oh my goodness, Rachel and Tyrell were hilarious. From the moment they came on, I said, "Oh, here we go." It's like we didn't even make it like 1-2 minutes before we were laughing. But I mean, they do have a comedy theater.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we had been dull on here, maybe that would have been like a red flag.
Yeah.
So talk to me about them. What an amazing couple and how they're just pouring into each other's dreams and pouring into the community. Tell me some thoughts about our conversation with the co-founders of Warehouse Comedy Theater.
Well, one of the things that I loved is that they're doing something that they both love. They are both pouring into each other. They're pouring into the community. And I've heard a description before of like the ultimate loving partnership or something like that is you have two people, two parties wanting to outdo each other in service to each other and assuring that the dreams of each other, are met. And that's them, it really is. And I mean, they were transparent about, yeah, if you're going into business with your partner, there's going to be quarrels and there's going to be a lot of fun and like the visions of sugar plums and, and all that. I mean, what a delight.
Yeah, they were phenomenal. I thought it was a phenomenal episode with them. And it was really cool because, so I saw them, I'm always on social media, like looking up things, trying to find people. And someone had recommended, like, hey, did you know that there's a new comedy theater that's opening in Omaha? I'm like, no, but thank you for telling me. So I just sent them in a little DM, like, hey, can I come and just check you guys out? And so just came over there, actually brought my kid too. So she was like up on stage having fun. And they were just a really cool couple. And even when you go in there, it doesn't feel like the other comedy clubs in Omaha. Like there's color, they have the light show. And then even in their back room, their green room, it just has a completely different vibe. And you can feel that it's uniquely them and that it's welcoming. And I liked how they talked about the different levels and services that these theaters provide and how they're providing a space for people to come and grow. And they had like friction, like, hey, you're not just going to get on the stage and get paid. There's going to be some processing here. But we do have open mics. And then how Rachel was able to talk about the community with the improv nights that they have on Wednesday. And they're just a wonderful couple. And like you said, of course, with any human relationship, there's going to be some conflict. There's going to be some trial and error. But what I really liked about Tyrell and about Rachel is that they were able to see each other's strengths, play into those strengths, and just allow that to keep them going. They have, like she said, black cat, golden retriever. I was like, oh, so cute. I like it.
Also another nod to Gallup, working in a way that's strengths-based.
Strengths-based leadership. I have that one. I have that book, the Strengths-Based Leadership book. Yeah, Gallup has all the research. I feel like if you don't know about it, just go to Gallup. The website has something.
Boy, isn't Omaha great?
Yeah. I'm trying to tell everybody that.
We have Gallup. We have it all. We have it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that I noticed with them, I noticed kind of a tie-in with Liv. Because, she spoke to her limiting beliefs and she was saying that like kind of in her classes, it's kind of like a therapy in a way. And she said, a way that she has started thinking about things is, if this is true, what else is true?
I like that a lot. I like that when she brought that into the conversation. Keep going, keep going.
And so it's like, okay, if this is true that I tried this and it bombed, what else could be true is that if I did this again and made this adjustment and tweaked this, because that's where I noticed things weren't, whatever, then that could be successful. That could also be true. So it's not a failure at the end. You could say, wow, bombed that. And that is true. But what else is true? And thinking of those possibilities.
And that's a good takeaway for our creatives too. This is a practice that they can easily do at home. You had an art show. 10 people showed. Is that successful? Is that a failure rate? Whatever that is. If this is true, then what else is true? You had an art show. You had a showing. You actually did the thing. You put things up on the wall. You had a gallery opening, or you took photos, or you just did your first social media post to start marketing yourself. And the only people who liked it was your grandma and your mom. All right. Yeah, that might be true, but what else is true? You went through the whole process of actually making the platform. So thank you for bringing that forward, because that is an easy thing that you can do at home. You don't need to pay for that. You can write it out in a journal or journalers, or you can say it out loud, but that's such an easy practice that you can incorporate into your creative process.
Right. Something that I laughed at a few times with them was when Tyrell shared that he didn't really enter comedy until after many, many lows. And let's see here, when his life became hilariously bad.
Yeah,
enough.
I like that. I like that. He's like,
when,
that this is a material. I don't know. I like that. I feel like I have hit the jackpot of material here, and I'm going to use it. Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe comedy isn't your art form, but the thing is, sometimes all you can do is laugh. And every single one of us have failures, whether it's, the show bombed, or, my fingers just aren't, it's just not a good day. My practice didn't even go well, that laugh about it. Find something to laugh about. We both play an instrument. My practice goes terrible. And I think, man, how many times do my parents have to listen to me screw up Mary Had a Little Lamb?
You're so funny.
Those poor people, boy, I love them. That
Man.
must have been awful. Did they have earplugs?
You're actually giving me a flashback, because there was, I should not even admit this, but I am going to admit it. It was so funny because we were at a concert, we had so many marching bands and events and all kinds of things. Well, we were playing a song and I completely forgot the song. So I just started to move my fingers. I was like, well, nobody knows. I mean, there's enough people. And I was like, Jessica, I've lost, I don't know. Maybe I was like, I used to read a lot of books when I was a kid, like in high school. So I don't know how I lost everything. I lost it all. And I'm like, I don't know where we are in the song. You had the little flip thing. That's not helping me. I don't even know where we are. And I've just forgot the song.
Look at you doing improv. Look at you.
I was definitely improving. And sometimes I wonder if my band teacher ever knew. You're like, I don't even think Jessica knows this song. I don't think she's practicing. But I mean, I had a tutor and all that good stuff. But I just remember we were performing, and I was like, Twilight's coming out. It was something I know it was something that totally put me on the rabbit hole. But anywho, like you said, sometimes you have to laugh about that. You have to put yourself out there, and It is that. It is a creative process. And that's
Yeah.
why we're bringing people on this show, because just to show people at home, like, hey, here's someone who's at a certain level of maturity in their journey. Here's someone who's starting out. Here's someone who's actually in the messy middle. And here's someone who's helping others start their journey as well. And so I think Tyrell said something to this effect, like, you don't, like the perfection and being imperfect and like being imperfect, which is true. I mean, everybody has that kind of saying of like, you don't need to be perfect. And especially in the AI world, I actually would say that it's to your detriment to be perfect. Even when Teresa, I remember we're doing the intro, like I couldn't even read her podcast thing. I was like, girl, the becoming obsessed. And then she's like, yeah, that happens to me all the time. But that's
hard
so
to say.
human. Yeah. And I think it's okay to have those imperfect moments. It's okay to draw in from the hard times, the good times, and use what you can. Like Teresa said, what makes you tick? Like what gives you joy? Like why do you want to do this? Lean into the things that actually energize you. And so,
Yeah.
that's what I have to offer.
What brings you to life?
What brings you to life? All right, so we're getting ready. We're at the last minute of today's episode. So if you had, I'm going to wrap a question with you. If you had one word or sentence to describe our process so far, like of meeting these creatives, what is one thing that you're feeling after having these interviews with these wonderful creatives?
2 different words.
Okay.
Awe
Aw, yes.
and wow.
I like it.
The level of talent, the types of talent, the lessons I learn from them, the awesome time I get to have with you.
I know.
Nice.
I like doing this with you. It's
Yeah.
fun. Just getting to invite our wonderful community in and
Yeah.
give them a platform and say, hey, we see you.
Yeah.
We're championing you and we're here for you in your journey. So this has been a wonderful thing to do.
So a word,
up?
a sentence.
Grateful, absolutely grateful. 2 years ago, two and a half years ago, this was a dream. I was just thinking about this, ruminating about this, like starting a podcast. And, two and a half years later, actually being here on set and the things are happening and it's going and saying, you know what? Okay, yeah,
That is fun.
dream came true and it's still happening. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I keep showing up as long as you let me.
Girl, I love you. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this time and recapping it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you for listening to the Creative Life Podcast, the place where creatives go for inspiration. If today's conversation inspired you to take a creative risk, support local arts, or pursue a vision you've been putting off, make sure to follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for a deeper creative community, keep an eye out for the upcoming Creative Letters Book Club, where we'll explore creativity, leadership, storytelling, and personal growth through meaningful conversations and great books. To stay updated on future episodes, book club announcements, and behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram at the Creative Life Podcast Omaha. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who believes in the power of creativity and community. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and keep living the creative life.